Welcome, everyone, to another podcast with Franchise Voice. I'm your host, Kabir. On today's episode, we're going to be exploring how design drives franchise growth from brand identity and customer experience to scaling across market. My today's guest is Hemen Modi. He's a founder of Design TWG and Toronto-based company that is like really excellent in terms of what they do. They have won numerous awards and they have helped number of brands like Atul Bakery, Ice Flame, Juicy Birds, to just some of them that are in their portfolio. So, Hemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Kabir. Thank you for inviting me.
Perfect, perfect. You're getting to be a very familiar face at every Toronto show that I go to, or like franchise shows that I attend. Like you're everywhere in the franchise space. So let's start off with our first question, which kind of like I've noticed like you're very active, especially in last 3 4 years. Like I've seen you pretty much going to each and every event that is in franchise space. And you said today you're gonna be having a booth at the Toronto show as well, which is pretty good. So what transformed like your line of business, or what made you like pick the franchise space to begin with?
First of all, thank you, Kabir, for inviting on this super platform. I'm so excited to learn more about and actually learn from other speakers as well, as you mentioned. This is all about learning from each other. Yeah. So thank you, Kabir. Uh, what transpired me to do this? Just a little journey about. I'm an interior designer and heavily worked in a visual branding space as well, and in trade show industries in Canada. And we understood the importance of brand. When we were working in trade show, working on auto brand and pharmaceutical brand and all. What really matters, and I guess we all understand, design is not and we can work in silo. Yeah. And we started working with a larger space like banquet hall, event space, hotels, one-off chef-inspired restaurants and all. And then last few years, we realized that, North America being a business-driven place, how can you maximize, how my client can maximize their investment from one to multiple? And that helped us create the brands. Of course, the franchise part is long history here in North America and Canada, but especially people who are started with the first location, and so proudly I can say that there's so many brands that we work with. They were having one location to now 15, 20, 30 locations. So that really helped. That franchisee is a very evolving things always. Yeah. We are talking about QSR. It starts with one chef owned, and now classic examples that we have 50 locations. So I see it's a experience that we design, and I'm sure we'll touch base on many things in our conversation.
So let me ask you this. So like it's pretty interesting that you mentioned like it could be a new business that is going in the franchise space, or like someone has like like an established business and they know the business model works and they're planning to go into a franchise model. So they can be like one of your clientele. And then moreover, like I've noticed like recently, especially like after COVID, a lot of brands are rebranding. So
Yes.
that's where you guys come in the picture as well, right?
Absolutely. I think you said it right on. See, rebranding is a nature. Yeah. Whether COVID pushed us, but it's a very natural stuff because context is always changing. Yeah. So when we are talking about bigger restaurants, bigger footprints, after COVID, we realized, a lot of takeout started happening. So smaller footprints can also work, and it's actually making a lot of business sense. So the experience, how can you have a dine-in experience in a takeout? That's where the branding, the change, the shift started coming in, and rebranding and repositioning started coming in. And yes, we play a very important role, of course, with a lot of other stakeholders of visual branding and interior design. Yeah.
And so that again brings me back to like like your philosophy as well. Like I mean, just for our audience that is going to be listening to this, especially the franchisors, like your philosophy based on what I've noticed is like innovatively actualizing your vision together, right? That's what you guys use as one of your taglines.
Yes.
So how does that translate into, like working with the franchisors that are especially trying to scale their business?
So very interesting. Even to get to that line, it was our repositioning. Yeah. So I mean, historically, all designers, they work for creativity. Yeah. And especially me being an immigrant, and a lot of us are a first generation immigrant to Canada. I came 25 years back and I said, yeah, creativity is important, but here feasibility is extremely important. Yeah. And so that means, coming back to our tagline, innovatively actualizing your vision together, is innovatively is our by default. You go to doctor, you have to get good. Yeah. We go to designers, creativity is must, but actualizing that creativity is very important. So this is where we come into a very feasible approach, which is, I would say, simple: time, budget, and quality. Yeah, that's franchisees or any other design projects requires. So actualizing the vision, and vision is, whose vision is the story which the client, the brand has developed. So that actualizing the vision, and the last thing is together. Now, this is another important thing, and I'm sure I really love what you have started. This is that together part, and that's where we believe in my name, our company name also, TWG, Together We Grow, and we really live by it. That working together as a team, collaborative, we can actualize the vision with a creative approach. So that's kind of dissection, if I have make any sense. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, like, I also went through your pitch deck that you guys use for your franchise clients, and like, especially the ones that you're introducing your brand or what you guys do for them. So, one thing that I noticed on that, there's a like, and for people that are not getting the context for the deck, like, obviously, book a time with Hemen's team and get to figure out how they can help you with your design or like. Franchise development process. So like now one thing that you have mentioned in that pitch is like discovery to deploy, right? And there are a number of things like I kind of found like your pitch deck to be pretty good, like a lot of good designs like that are pretty inspiring and a lot of great projects that you guys have worked in the past. So
Thank you.
walk us through like how this helps like a franchisor, especially like like when someone's like in market right now looking for a service like yours, how would you reduce their risk and stress?
Interesting, man. It's very, very important. And as I said, historically, designers would only do design, and a lot of designers are still doing, which is their scope. But I specifically saw it beyond, because especially franchise is all about growth. It's all about expanding. It's all about scalability. And first location, of course, difficult. Five location is one pain. Then goes beyond 10 is a different system that one has to adopt. So what we have kind of worked last, I would say maybe before COVID, we started working on. And first, it's like practice what you preach. First, what we did, we created our own playbook. TWG's playbook, which is the 5D we say is internally, and now our client is also speaking, and I'm so glad that you also went through that. Is discover, define, design, develop, and deploy, which is a standard design process. But we have kind of internally mastered that each stage. So as you said, the example of a new client who wants to expand from 0 to 1 or 1 to 100, or I mean 1 to 10 to 10 to 50, the first stage is discovery. Yeah. And we go through an extensive discovery session where we listen, we understand the vision, because it's all about the vision. It's all about that first gut feeling, and you say, I want to start this. That vision we understand and discover. Now, most important thing is, if I can take another 2 minutes in this, most important in this vision to reality, how they say, the client's biggest pain is time and money.
Yes.
Of course, creativity, all these nuances, finding the locations, but all it comes down to, okay, the QSR is costing 400,000. How can we give everything in 400? That's bottom line. That's about the business. Yeah. That's actualizing. So how we do it in the discovery stage, we work extensively with all the stakeholders. And when I say all, is everyone, not only just the client, the realtor, the finance people, the general contractor, the vendors, suppliers, technology people. We create the team together. Yeah, that's where the discovery will happen. Everybody take the ownership. So we internally say we don't work for tender drawings. We work for the outcome, a successful outcome. So discovery happens. Then from discovery, we help define the project scope and program, which is where all the stakeholders who has already given their input, we define the program and everybody knows what is their role in that play. Once from define to go to the design, and that's where we are now going into the creative zone, where the branding, interior design, engineering part, we also own the engineering part. We do in-house engineering. It's very important what we specify. For example, in kitchen, it goes into the interior design aspect also. Yeah. And then from that design to develop. Now, the develop is how do you create your interior detailing drawings? How do you create your artworks? How do you create in keeping in mind that the budget is in control? And that's where all the stakeholders, especially general contractor at that level, will help us achieve that number which we have established at the discovery stage. Yeah. And from design to deploy. Now, the deploy stage is everybody's ownership is at stake now. What we have designed is working, what GC has promised is working or not, what engineers have done is working or not, the vendors are putting it together. So I would say it's a whole ecosystem, yeah, which has
Right.
to work together. So, and internally we have in our playbook all the checklists, parameters, proof of deliverables, project design schedule, and I can go on and on. But those detailing is helping internal and external team both. And so it's very important to follow that process. And and as a team, when I say team is internal and external team, we work all together for the common goal, which is the success of franchise.
All right. Now, see, like I really like the part where you guys do like the project scope, because I've noticed like a lot of things like go backwards, or like like in different directions when you don't have a proper project scope. That obviously like puts some confidence in the client as well, because they get to understand how much time, what
It's
resources are going to be used.
expectation. Yeah.
Yeah, expectations are already clarified in the very beginning, because I feel like that's not just like in your side line of business, like even like anything that you do in business, like getting to a certain strategy and then clarifying how much time, how much resources are going to be utilized. That's very important as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, right? This is something that I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, like, like when a franchisor is trying to scale, right? Sometimes they go like, hey, I don't like the way my brand looks right now, or there's a time for, and there we go through a number of brands like that I personally have noticed, like you go to a restaurant again and then you feel like, well, it feels like something different has been done, right? Or
Mm.
sometimes they completely remodel it, right? Like they completely change the logo, they change every single bit of it. Even the color scheme has been something that I've noticed, like they would change. So now my question for you really is like, what would you say are the common, like design issues or branding mistakes, especially from your years of experience? Let's say if I was a franchisor, or let's say I was trying to either expand, or I was trying to get into like a new design model. Like, what are the things that like you, with respect to new brands and established brands, what things should they consider before like like going into the direction of changing their or creating a new design for their stores?
Superb question. I wanted you to ask this, because this is what we put Kabir other way, that it's so important to have design work with your vision. Yeah. So if I put it in a simple 4 steps. So think about a brand franchisor created a franchise system or a brand, which is a vision. Yeah. Now vision. So I'll also tell you, instead of being more on what doesn't work, I want to say what works. Yeah. So and I think we all are smart enough to understand, oh, this is a gap. Yeah. So what is important? The vision has to come to reality.
Right.
Simple as that. So now what are the steps in between as a designer? We say vision has to go to visual. So verbiage, because generally the vision comes in a verbiage, yeah, in a word format, or we're talking and you might say that, I mean, I'm looking for Starbucks type of thing, for example. So it's your verbiage to go into the visual, which is brand DNA. The basic soul of a brand comes from the vision. It has to reflect in the vision. So it's not about logo design. My biggest challenge, what I see as a designer, is branding is not a logo design. Yeah, it's a small aspect of a touch point. So as people who are owning this brand, please understand that having a good logo is important, but it's a small part. It's the overall brand development. So I call it as a you're actually creating a brand which has a legs, eyes, this, that, the whole DNA system. Now that visual should go into spatial experience, which is your interior design. So the experience of coming down, yes, digitally we saw how it looks on the internet. You're now experiencing the three-dimensional space. So that is spatial. And then the spatial with the right product which we are putting in. If it's QSR, the right cuisine, if it is healthcare, the right service and product, it creates the experience. Yeah, so if I have to say what is one thing missing, or rather one thing which we have to make it as an intertwined element is the consistency. Yeah,
So,
and
so the
I
so the
sorry,
vision you would say, sorry to cut you off, like this is like really important, right? Like especially with new brands, sometimes they have the vision, but they haven't documented it, right?
bang on,
So
bang
would
on.
you be able to help them, like, or give them some ideas, like how they can come up with their vision or document it better? Because that's going to be a problem. Because if someone just has like, hey man, I have everything in my mind, that's going to be an issue for you to like,
Yeah,
like understand what. Because then my script would change every time, right?
so true. And you know what? I mean, yes, in the world of franchise and design, we use a lot of jargons, yeah, like the management jargons and design jargons. So it kind of becomes a little intimidating. Oh, what is vision? So I'll tell you example. We are doing a wellness spa right now, and very passionate people who really believe to make a difference in the society by creating a urban spas, a small wellness and especially Ayurveda inspired. So we worked with that people and we said, okay, what's your vision? And I said, what is vision means? Yeah, what do you mean by vision? So I said, that's the discovery stage. So we sat, we were having coffee, then extended to lunch, and they were just explaining what is their ideas, and we converted that into a vision. We did it in a verbiage, created kind of their book, I would say more of a playbook, and that we took it further to branding, to the interior design. So yes, vision is very important. Is you need to also have a very good partners to listen to your ideas, to convert into verbiage, and then the story. So uh, yes, of course, that's why we are professional in this field, and we can definitely help who has a passion behind the product, and you see it. Yeah, that's how the growth is happening.
So our audience, like especially like like the new emerging franchisors, can they reach out to you just to get pick your brain on few things
Of
that they're
course,
working on? Okay, that's all about franchise space, guys. Like
that's absolutely yes. And I'm thanking you, Kabir, to create this platform, because see, we've been working together for a long time. It's both ways, yeah. The expertise and knowledge base that you and your team brings to table, it's not always about project.
right.
About this, let's create this awareness so that there are less pitfalls. Yeah,
So like one of my friends in franchise space, that he keeps on saying, like it's a small village, like everyone knows everyone, everyone's trying to help each other.
absolutely.
You can't really ignore, like the pitfalls or like the issues that are there. Like it's always good to help each other. And I mean, people like yourself, like I have like tons of friends that have, like we all want to like help the franchise space with like our expertise, but like at the end of the day it's like it's taking some time out to help the new guy in the space and like give them some tips on it. And that's
Absolutely.
where even this podcast like that we are doing today is going to be at the end result is to help the
Okay.
franchisors that are new to the space or the established ones that are looking for a design change or the concept change, or like
Yeah.
they want someone like you to help them, like go to the next level. Now, we have been talking about two different types of franchisors. We have
Yeah.
been talking about the ones that are gonna be franchisors very soon, or they already have done their FTDs and like their documentation, and they're like, like, hey, I need someone like Hemen to help me create this into a proper concept.
Yeah.
Now, there are two different types of obviously players in the game. One who's established one, as you said, they have over 50 location. They're like a known brand or a known brand in a region, and their expansion is like tremendously higher than the new guy that is in just starting off in the franchise space. Now, I would imagine like for both the types of people, like like if you have over 50 locations, you have money in the bank, right? Or you're doing well, right? Like I mean, and some brands I'm pretty sure that are even gone to like 100 plus locations. They have the investment to make, even though to change the entire structure it would be a lot of work, but like they have the budget for it. Whereas like a new guy who's just like starting off, they have one or two locations, they need your expertise as well. So how do you approach the creativity along with the budget that these guys would have?
Yeah. So again, see, I think as we say that from discovery to deploy, it's very important to invest the right amount at the right place. Yeah. So I've seen a lot of franchisees who are starting first location, they put their heart and soul inside. And that includes money as well. Yeah.
Right,
So and that location is looking awesome, fantastic. But is this something which we are promoting, which may not be? Yeah.
right,
So it's very important to, I would again come back to that very important to have your team together, which I feel is non-negotiable. A good team is non-negotiable, period. I mean, yes, it'll cost a little bit, but that is where we don't want to be penny wise, pound foolish. Yeah, we want to invest at the right place. Yeah, a right a franchise consultant, right design team, right franchise lawyers, a good GC to start with, and all these things requires that discovery stage. So I work with a brand who has multiple locations and
right.
they have 50, 70 locations they want to expand, and we are doing their version two, or the brand who is just kind of started. In both, I would say, Kabir, and I'm sure you will agree that both has a sensitivity towards budget.
Right, right,
Yeah. Yes, the brand who has a 50, 60, they have mastered the how do I say, the optimization process. But the brand who started, even they are conscious that we don't want to go beyond. And for both, I would say we have successfully done it. When I say successfully, we means not only TWG, we work with people like you. It's a collaborative approach. And we have kind of established the, the budget that is business wise visible. We have achieved that. Yeah.
yeah. Then see, like, so let me ask you this, and we didn't. I should have maybe like agreed to this earlier. Let me ask you this: if we can do this, like, this is pretty interesting, and I feel like a lot of people can take advantage of talking to you directly. Would you be okay if we add a link of your, like calendar? Can you give like 30 minutes free consultation to anyone that needs help and have a conversation with you?
Absolutely. Listen, I would love to, because it's not about project we work together or not.
Right.
We as a people who are expert in their own field, it's our ethical responsibility. I would say I was in another panel discussion and someone say that, how can we avoid so and so things? I said avoiding is later when you do the mistake. How can we even avoid talking about this? Yeah. So that's where we need to connect. And I would love to connect together, meet in person, show what we have been doing, how we are doing it. There's no magic formula. It's a process. So I'll be more than happy. Yeah. And me and my team will definitely help.
All right, that's really good to hear. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can leave a link on the right after the video on the
Yeah, and
description. So,
also, just that you just started that we are going to National Franchise Show. We're going to have a booth, small little footprint there. Would love to connect there as well. Of course, a lot of people, but we can exchange our information and we can set up time. And I think you are going to be there too.
yeah,
So
I'm probably going to be there. So, I mean, you go to each and every show. We keep crossing paths again and
Yes.
again. So like it's not hard to find you at in the franchise space. So and we will still leave the information for them to like
Thank you.
connect with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on with like a few more questions, and then I just want to like ask a few things that like especially with your expansion as a company. So let's start off with like some franchise projects. Like, see, like I've noticed like you guys have worked with a number of brands, and I did mention some names earlier in the introduction. Uh, Now, give us an example, like it could be like something that happened on a project. Give us an like like some sort of story for to help our audience to understand how you supported directly or indirectly a growth of a uh, franchisor.
You mentioned about a couple of brands, and I'll take a little bit more. There's another brand called BMPP. It's called
Right.
Big Mamas and Papa's Pizzeria. I'm sure you know about their US base, and they came to Canada. They want to expand all across the provinces. And extremely passionate guy, Aro. I'm sure he will listen to this. And I can't tell you, I mean, his passion is infectious. But if he can take the inspiration, great guy. And his I would say challenge is how can we make sure that a passion is transformed into the brand up to the level of the pizza box. Yeah. So what we did the first before we land on the first project, now they have almost 5 to 6 locations, and the four is in pipeline. It's in process in various provinces. But first thing what we did, his vision, which was he's been doing this for the last 15, 20 years, but it's still in fragment. He has 20 locations in LA, but not a consistent brand approach. So first thing what we did, we created the playbook. And that playbook, when I say, is everything, starting from vision to all his collaterals, all his ideas about how it should be. And it's not an operational manual. It's about the vision manual, the mission manual you call, and it goes up to the T where what kind of material we are going to use. So what it helped is number one, the franchisor, RO got a really good idea that, oh, this is what I'm expecting out of the brand. Franchisee got the clear picture that, oh, this is what I'm going to get. Yeah. And the end product we could visualize. So I call it as a success story. If you can visualize the success before you go to the first line on the drawing, that something is kind of a proof of deliverable. Yeah. So in that process, yes, we had challenges on the locations, but because we had the manual or a brand playbook in front of us, it's almost like a Google Path. Yeah. It's decided this is what we are going. We are not deviating. So that helped a lot. And of course, every locations we learn, we are rectifying. So another thing which we have learned in this adaptability. If we as a team are not adaptive, this is not about carved on the stone. So another myth franchise sector has it that, oh, once you have one design, it's ready to go. You can do. No, that design is your guideline. Yeah. Each locations are going to be different. Each location can be contextualized. Each location can be. Starbucks is classic example. Yeah. Though we know the brand appearance is common, but each location design is different. So this is how we are doing BMPP, and the growth is happening. Franchisees are connecting um, up to the level where the sign will happen, how the pizza boxes will be done, because we do visual design and brand packaging design as well. So all the touch points, if I say for brand, we kind of take the ownership on that. So I would say it's a very interesting process, and RO being a passionate person, and I'm sure every franchisor, that's where they enter in this space. Yeah, because it's a very passion driven. But the right ecosystem has to be there, the stakeholders. So this was an interesting project, like many other. Atul Bakery we did. They are a success story from India. They have more than 300 locations, and we help adapt the existing brand, created the new approach, and established in the North America. So they have few locations in US. The first location opened here in Brampton, in Canada, and now they're expanding further. So as I said, people who have 300 locations, they need to be adaptive into the newer context. Yeah. People who have 0 locations and the first we are doing one another brand, very interesting brand, as I said, for the Ayurveda uh, wellness brand, which they don't have any existence here, and we are starting with the first footprint in Mississauga. So these are different areas, but I feel each of them is very important to have your good team, good approach, good vision establishment, expectation and positioning should be right. So it's an interesting process. Yeah.
Okay, so and now like just so like we're clear on this, like I think I did mention like you guys are really operating in US and Canada. Like, are you guys like also functional in US yet, or how's your business in US right now?
So, US is humongous market. Yeah. And I would highly encourage all our Canadian franchisees to explore in US. And some of the brands, another pizza brand, Pizza Depot, they are going in US and they're doing extensively well in US market. So again, the same thing. Whatever is happening in Canada is not replicated in US. It's not a copy paste. Another brand, we are taking a North American brand to India, so the soul has to be common. Yes, soul is there, which is your vision, your mission, your food, your taste, if it is QSR. But the implementation is very important. So the partners who we work with US, they know the local context, material specification, availability. One state has certain type of material available easily. Now the same material may not be available in Texas. So things like that is important, because end of the day, we talked about what you promise. If you deliver to your franchisee, I see that's a success model. Yeah. And that's where we work with again, the same engineering team cannot work in US. So we work with another engineering team for getting the permit and all. So yeah, again, contextual adaptability.
So right now you guys are like I know like you guys do a lot of things in Canada already that I'm aware of. So India, US, like any franchisors from these three countries, like they can reach out to you.
Absolutely. We did a seminar last year in India, where the whole idea was there are two high commissions, India and Canada. They had created this symposium where professionals like us, we went there and talked about how the cross-country collaboration can work. And we work with local city. We are member of franchise association here and in India and in US. So and people like you who are already connected professionally. So what we do is, if the brand wants to come from India to here, we create the platform and give them the whole 9 yards about all stakeholders. Of course, they can pick and choose, but we it's not just the design, or it's not just the realtor who is important. It's the whole team, and both ways. It's so important that, and we can become that pivotal person. So that's why we say we are not uh, just an interior design team. Yeah, we are more of a collaborators, and we help connect and make sure that growth is there. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and now like when you work with three different countries, like I mean, US and Canada, even though like I mean it's part of North America, like there's a like at least the language is the same, and there's a lot of similarities in terms of like the way I would say like somewhat culture has like overlap on towards it. Now, when you work in a country like India, like it's completely different. The regions are different. Like people like I don't know if our audience would know, but like India probably has like 20 different languages that are big in India, and the culture is very different. Uh,
absolutely.
so I'm guessing, as you mentioned earlier, like you guys have to work with different engineering teams, and you build like those vendors list. Now, how supportive are you in different regions? Like, do you guys help? Let's say if I was a franchisor, would you guys be able to connect me with different suppliers
Yes, so good question. The one good advantage that we have our another office, design office in Pune, Maharashtra.
in
Pune,
India?
is near Mumbai. Yeah, and we have a fully functional office. We have 8 designers, plus or minus interns. We have working there, and not only just I don't call, we don't work as a back office. It's a pure design team. There's interior designers, graphic designers, strategists. So first of all, the local presence is very important. You can refer, but you're right. Let's say if something we found in Delhi, how
Right.
can we support? So we have kind of done it in three region: north, I would say west, and more southwest. We have not explored too much in east right now, but all these areas we have are preferred vendors who actually can help us. So we are actually doing one set of franchise development in West, in Ahmedabad, where they are doing multiple locations, and we have connected with local suppliers, local vendors, uh, uh, general contractors who's facilitating this project, and it'll be most likely open end of the September. Yeah. So
So that
it's very much important to have physical presence as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially like if you're gonna be like working in the franchise space, it requires a lot of things. Like, it's not just like giving them the first ready to go store or
Yeah.
packaging. Like, they always need your help. Like, they're always like, I feel
Yeah.
like franchisors are like entrepreneurs that always have tons of ideas. I mean, in general, like entrepreneurs have a lot of new ideas, and they're always like looking for like what can we improve in our business, and especially like. Your line of business is like a lot of that is like like how it appears. It's a lot of visual stuff happening over there, and that's where like even if you go to a restaurant, like you want to have like a place that is welcoming, that has a
Yeah.
feel to it, where you go, because it's an experience, right? Like, I mean, I can cook at home and still be fed.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I call it as, our design internal litmus test is if we can achieve three senses out of five. If you're talking about restaurant, it's so funny. It's just, now you will think from that direction. If you can achieve three senses, food generally they are mastered, so taste is good.
Right.
But if visual sense is coming great, and if the smell is coming great, let's say sound also is easy. But if you have three or more, fantastic. And that's where I think it's a wholesome, you're so right. It's an experience that you go for. You maybe your food sometime when you cook may be much better than the restaurant, but it's not the food that we go. Yeah. It's an overall experience. The classic one, when you go to a washroom and doesn't smell good, you put off. Yeah. But the other way, they have fantastic washroom and smelling good and clean. You feel that, oh, I can visualize the kitchen.
Even like design wise, like I've gone to some restaurants, like obviously we always have those ones like where we like have
Right.
the worst experience, but I've been to like places like that have like done excellent jobs, even like small things, like like how the washroom appears is like
Oh, yeah.
it has, you go and like you feel like like how did they came up with all these design concepts
So true.
in the small space for such as like a washroom in a restaurant. Okay, so I want to move to like like a few other topics, because we do have a limited time. I just want to like
So,
capture as much as your information and your thought process towards our audience. Now, sustainability. Like I've heard this, like especially like like whenever I go to any vendors show or supplier show for franchise space, I've noticed like people talk about a lot of about sustainability, smart designs, like.
yeah,
They're kind of like a trending topic, not just recently. Like I think it's been sustainability is
it's
like a big thing right now, all across the world. So what would you say? How you indulge in that, and what kind of like like projects have you done where a bit of sustainability or smart design help in your process?
you're so right, man. This topic, sustainability, is a very politically incorrect topic. Let me put it this way, because if I want to make a nice and smart like politicians do it, that oh how we reduce the carbon footprint and it's difficult. Sustainability, I look at it in a very different way. Yeah, VOC should be less and the material should be sustainable. Yes, but let's accept one fact. Canada does not manufacture all the products. Yes, wood, all related stuff, perfect. So local, definitely. Lot of things are coming from outside. Lighting fixtures, it's a lot of furniture, tiling, a lot of things are coming from. What's sustainability? So I look at it different way. Sustainability is how can you reduce? your overheads. And overheads is not just money, overage also. It's sustainable. If you make a smart design, and if the design is happening from 8 by 4 sheet, just for an example, and if you're using half of the sheet and half is a waste, non-sustainable. If you're doing a project in Regina and your whole team is going from here to travel to Regina because we found somebody cheaper here, not sustainable. That's not sustainable. You have a project in St. John's and your material is going from here, Toronto. It's not sustainable. So sustainability has to be looked at in a very practical manner, not just at a theoretical manner. Yeah, though I'm using a paint which is very important. Yes, it's important. But imagine if that's why one classic example I'll tell you. We had a project in Saskatoon, and the client said, "Oh, we got a new place, uh, but I don't have the drawings, base building drawings. So one of you has to go and take the measurement." Okay, I said, you know what? We'll go there. Number one, first of all, we'll go to the airport, take the Uber, non-sustainable. Take the flight, going there, taking the whole flight back. Instead, why don't we hire someone local? Yeah, it might cost a little bit more, but think about this. It's so sustainable. Sustainability also giving the local people and the locals more employment. That's sustainable. Yeah, why? So,
Especially right now, like where tariffs are like killing all the small businesses, like local
yeah,
giving support or business to local
local.
business owners is right now like the biggest thing, especially with the like all the things that we have with the US right now.
Absolutely. Like people use this word custom design and they get afraid. I feel totally other way. Use custom design. We work with the printing companies and they primarily, of course, do the printing and signage and all. Now we are working with them for developing the light fixture, because they are making channel letters. Why can't we make the light fixtures and ESA approved? So why can't that be sustainable? So a lot of things we have worked with the millwork people who has a big facility. And what we do is instead of 5 people going to the site and make the stuff on site, they make everything in that facility, 40,000 square feet, make the counters, make all the stuff pre-drilled. And a lot of companies are doing it. I'm not the only one, and then transport it, install. That's sustainable. So I think the definition of sustainability is very important to understand. End of the day, if we save the footprint, carbon footprint, or dollar footprint, or the overage footprint reduced, it's sustainable. Yeah. So I mean, this is the way we do it in-house also. A lot of times doing a Zoom call meeting is sustainable instead of everybody's traveling from all over the places. Yeah. So I mean, this is how I see it. Otherwise, theoretical, if you type what is sustainability in interior design, ChatGPT will tell you.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that because my next question was literally on like another trending topic right now. Any franchise event, and I'm pretty sure you would agree to this, that I've gone to in last 2 years, people are just like obsessed with AI. Everything is AI now, even if it's not really AI, but like everything that used to be
Yes.
traditional is like they're using like a bit of AI, and then they're like, hey, like we just changed the process. It's AI based now. So, uh, so let me ask you this: design, as I know, because we work with lot of graphic designers, not obviously for the level that you guys would do, but like especially with the web designers and stuff. And I've noticed like in last few years the tools or the way the processes were, they completely are changing. Like a lot of things that used to be relevant are done with the help of AI. And there's like, I feel like the growth in AI is almost like 1,000% every month. Like what I knew few months back has already changed in AI. There's like new versions of it. So in next 5 to 10 years, like how do you see, especially in your space, how are you guys gonna keep up with the AI, like constantly changing? The reason I bring this up is like especially like a lot of people that I connect with, they was like, oh, what is the use of AI in your business? So let me ask you this: how do you see that you're gonna be using AI, or what is gonna be the scope of AI in your line of business?
You know what? I've been asked this question for clients also so many times. And I'll give you the honest answer. I'm not an expert in this, but I've done a little bit of research. We had an intern from Waterloo, and she was fantastic in searching. And we said, "Tell us what the hell AI is going to do. Am I going to have my job or not?" Yeah, simple. So you can't ask that Chat GPT, yeah, because Chat GPT will tell you, yeah, you will have a job. No, we did a little research, and I went through some seminars of franchise, and there's an interesting talk show on Disney. I guess it's Oprah taking the interview of Sam Altman, and she asked the same question: "What's the future for AI?" Yeah, so and that's he's also funnily saying that I'll have to ask the AI to give me the answer of what's the future of AI. In our field, jokes apart, our field in design field, AI is very important. And I'll tell you, in a nutshell, if I say that AI has a tremendous advantage if you have your vision clear, what you're looking for. AI won't help you what you need to look for. And I don't think so. It's advisable to take the help from AI that what should I do to reach there? Yeah. I can ask, and that's exactly how we are utilizing. So one example, I'll tell you how we are using our AI into our business in the design. So we have created our playbook. So our playbook is our soul searching and coming up the vision, mission, the benchmarking and proof of deliverables and processes and all. And
Right.
it's very difficult. Yeah, and I'm sure in creativity there is no benchmarking. So we created a hypothetical lot of examples and they call it as SOPs, yeah, operating procedures. But
Standard
still,
operating procedures. Yeah.
creativity is tough. So we created a document, and now we put that into one of the AI system. And now when I ask, and everything is on cloud platform now. Now if I ask, and I'll tell you one example. At the day we were doing it, give me 1,500 square feet QSR restaurants, which we have done in past, specifically with an open kitchen in the front. Perfect. AI went through it and found out all these layouts, picked up the layout and gave it to us. It helped us so much. Yeah. And there are a lot of other platforms that people have developed in hotel industry where you put your PIP list from a brand improvement list, put your floor plan, and I'll give you the whole matrix. I think this is where we need to start. I'm not saying uh, it'll ease out. So our design team is utilizing AI in this manner. If we have a database of 50 chairs. And now we want to know that if the database is right, and if you want to know that I want to have a height of this chair, this is the finish, and it'll cost us between $200 to $50. AI will do that part and give us and put it into the presentation format that we want. This is great, but we don't use AI to say that it's Kabir's restaurant, cafe, warm palette, five seating in the front. No, that actually messes up our mind because it actually will tell you that what, close your mind, look at me. I don't like it personally. So I don't see a threat in AI, but yes, we cannot ignore. We have to utilize AI in a very good way. So as I said, AI, if we ask the right thing to the platform will enhance our thinking process. Yeah. So this is how I see. And in our franchise world, there are so many, and the companies also. They've done fantastic work. I think Rafael works in that area, is super work. I've gone so much in detail that how they have created a platform for franchisees
There are quite a few, and especially like I've noticed like a lot of people are just really
using big time. Yeah,
yeah, and like and the ones that are not using, they're really curious. Like they feel, like the Gen Z word FOMO, like fear of missing out. They people just want to know what's AI gonna do in their line of business. And I really like your stand on like like how you guys are gonna be incorporating it for the or like benefits towards your line of
benefits.
business.
Yeah. And also, it's a new field, totally new area. So we decided that part of our internal knowledge training, every 3 months one of our team member will come up with this documentation presentation. Like our intern, she was a fourth year or third year student at Waterloo. She prepared this what AI will do and how we can adapt to AI stuff. Fantastic exposure, and we started using it. But as you said in the beginning of the question, that it's ever changing. Yeah, so we need to be on top of it.
100%. And it's not just your line of business. Like it's like for everyone. Like design is like obviously like I mean, I'm not gonna say uh like it's completely, you know, like AI based, but like there are components that are helping. Like for
So
example,
true.
image search, like a background image or a color
You-
scheme. It's like
So
those things, like, you know, like really the research that you had to go through. I think like the time for research has been reduced with the help of AI.
yeah, so true, so true. Yeah,
Okay, Heyman. So finally, like you know, like I'm gonna ask you one last question, and that's
sure.
also gonna be more of an advice that I think would help emerging franchisors, that especially the ones that are trying to open their first location. What advice would you give so that they can stand out?
Uh, I wish I can be that expert, but I would share my knowledge. And thank you for asking that because everybody is learning. But one of the thing in this present world, the economy that we are going through, and we instead of looking at the challenging side, we always want to focus on the growth side. I I will be so strongly say that, and I am the first one who can vouch also that design or designer do not look at them as mandatory tool. Do not look at them that essential tool. I consider we are a strategic tool, and more, as you said, AI is changing, the design world is changing too. We cannot and no one should work in isolation. So your designer, or if we are working together, we never work in isolation. Means we don't work for tender drawings. Here is your package, yours to discover. No. So consider designer as your integrated uh, partner. Yeah, not just. And I don't mean to underestimate who are only doing design. Important, but now is the time, and especially in franchise world, we need to collaborate. We need to have integrators. We need to have ecosystem. you know so I would say one thing I strongly feel, because success, we all are doing it for success. I'm doing for our success also, that we want to make beautiful designs, successful designs. Yeah, I'm sure you want to help your client so they can grow. How can it happen? We all have to work together, not in silo. So I would love to explore this discussion further in person, whether it's a brand has 50 locations or one, or sometime, I like those passionate people who are working from their garage, from their own kitchen, and they're thinking, how can we expand? Oh, for sure you can expand. And that's where we are here for. Yeah,
Every brand, I think, like they have their own story. Like someone had like
absolutely.
any franchise brand that exists, they always had one location to start from. So like no one's like built like big in one day. So like that's really you know.
Story, sorry, I want to just pick one 10 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Story,
go ahead.
story is so important, Kabir, what you said, because story only it builds up. Look at Starbucks. It was a small story. He didn't even think of buying Starbucks and where he is. It's a story. And that's where the right people come together and story becomes a movie, a brand, and the success. So you're so right. Story is so important.
All right, Heyman. So that's basically like you know, like we can go on for a day for this. Maybe we should have a
Absolutely.
session in the future again. Like if
I'd
people
love to.
like have any questions or anything that changes in the space, probably gonna bring you back again on a different set of questions. So
Yes.
that was today's episode with Heyman. A big thanks to you again for our viewers from Franchise Voice. And again, like if anyone's looking for not just like you know, like help about like design, like I think like Heyman can has a lot of things to offer, like especially his expertise in like understanding three different markets. That's going to be a huge advantage that our viewers can take. Like if even if you're considering going abroad, like or a different country like India, US, or
Dubai.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So but I'm guessing like next time we speak, you're gonna have your office in two new
No,
countries.
no, no. But collaboration, yeah. So we can do it. And Kabir, I want to also thank you to, first of all, it takes a lot to what you are doing. We are coming and going. I know how much preparation before, after, and your team will be doing is it's amazing. And honestly, I want to tell you that I'm learning so much while sharing our thoughts. Yeah. So we all should do that. And I think that's how the humanity grows. Yeah.
All right, and you have a great show, and we're gonna be crossing our
We'll see
paths
each other.
again. And
Yes.
so for anyone that wanted to ask a question, like maybe we would do like a Q&A next time. But if anyone had any questions or
Sure.
we missed on something, as we like we had a limited amount of time, we don't want to go beyond a certain time period. But
Sweet.
like feel free to connect with him and his team.
Anytime.
Design TWG, and they can and we will be sharing everything in the description, like a link where you can book an appointment with him and his team, and go check their website, ask for their pitch because it has amazing design concepts on it. So like I would say like don't do a lot of chat GPT research. Just go to him and ask him like,
Thank
hey,
you.
share some projects that you have worked on that might even give you some inspirations on what you might be looking for.
Thank you, Kabir. Anytime. You're most welcome. Be happy to connect again.